everyone, this is Brandon with the Shelby Township Library. Thanks for joining me today. Today we're going to talk about common questions we receive at the library and how a librarian may go about answering them. We're going to highlight so many questions today in the resources that we use. If I don't cover the question that you have, please feel free to comment below or on our social media, and I'll be happy to answer that question for you later. Let's get started. We often get questions about old newspapers, history, and family tree type topics. Looking for newspapers that are from the 1900s, maybe even earlier, local history in Shelby Township, and of course, census data and boat information from like Ellis Island. How do you go about finding these things? Well, let's start at the beginning here with newspapers. Easy enough, the Library of Congress actually worked with many libraries across the United States and organized and digitized these items online for us. We can find this information on chroniclingamerica.gov. Let's take a look together. Okay, so we can see in our web browser that we are on chroniclingamerica.loc.gov. That is the Library of Congress. And we have this wonderful page here that gets right to it. We have all of our states and newspapers from 1777 to 1963, complete with a search bar here so we can search anything that we would like to. Maybe we are doing a research paper on saloons, and we want to see what comes up. And we're looking for old advertisements, maybe even we want to see what old advertisements looked like in 1777 or 1912. So we can see that we can search these articles just like that. We can also look for historical figures. Maybe we want to look for Abraham Lincoln. And we're looking for a newspaper that was published around his death. We can see we have many newspapers here after the fact, during the fact. We have lots of resources to go off of, but we're seeing results from 1947, and that's likely not what our patron was looking for. So we can use an advanced search feature to narrow the dates to try and get what our patron wants, what your question was. So we can narrow that in a little bit and perform a search. And maybe get something just a little bit closer. We'll see the red highlighted parts here. This is where our search terms are showing up. So because we search for Lincoln and death, we'll see the Library of Congress has made these searchable by text. It's a pretty neat feature, and it is great for all sorts of searches. If we take our search and we put it in quotes, we can see what will come up that is exactly in the order we typed it. So let's see if Brandon Howard shows up in a newspaper. And we have some results. How neat is that? Let's take a look at the South Bend News-Times. We can zoom on in, and we'll see Howard Brandon is mentioned in here. How neat is that? Chronicling America is just one of the many resources that we have for finding newspapers. Until recently, Google also was doing a lot of work in digitizing these resources. Let's take a look together. If we go to news.google.com/newspapers, we will find a searchable page full of digitized newspapers that Google was working on. And we can see there is quite a collection. In fact, it may be very overwhelming, and it's important to note that these are not complete collections. This is just what Google was able to find that was available between libraries, academic libraries, and other ways of finding these. Another resource that we can use to find and answer questions is through the Michigan Electronic Library, mel.org, and we will be returning here very often during this conversation. If we go up to the e-resources and browse all e-resources, we will have all the e-resources that Mel has available for us. Now, these are all paid for subscriptions by the Michigan government, available to us as long as you are in the state of Michigan. So you can access these at home or in the library. And if we click on the N right here, we will see this resource called Newspaper Source Plus. It includes millions of articles from newspapers, news wires, and news magazines. It also offers television and radio transcripts with a constant ongoing update. What this means is if we had somebody who was contacting us with a reference question about a specific news report or article that was in maybe yesterday or a week ago's television program, this would be one of the resources we would use to try and answer that question. Now, it is not as friendly as our two previous resources, Chronicling America and Google, but it does have many resources and further options. So, we can search for full text, specific publications. We can look for government documents, magazines, or newspapers. If we're looking for colored images, maybe charts, graphs, sorts of statistics, those will all be options we can select here. One of my favorite ways to search is just by leaving the box blank and seeing what comes up. In this case, we did not select anything because we're not quite sure what we're looking for right now, or it's incredibly vague. Or in the case of the search engine, we're not even really sure what our resources we can search in are. If we scroll down the left-hand side here, we will see our refined search results or a filter. Think about it as a way to remove things we don't want. So, we know we're searching for full text. We know what we're looking for is in the United States, so we can remove the international newspapers. We know what we're looking for is from the last decade, so we can kind of narrow that down there. We can go to our subjects and kind of see what was popular amongst all of these articles in the last decade. So we can see United States had 8,500 articles, India had 6,700, West Virginia was mentioned for 4,995 times, and then President Donald Trump was mentioned 4,600. Some of this may spark our interest. Why was West Virginia mentioned 4,995 times? So we can select that. and that will narrow down our search result a little more. Further on down, we can refine subjects more, or we can search for specific publications, and we can see who was talking about it. So in this case, we can see that somebody digitized the State Journal of West Virginia, and this may be why there are so many results here. If we're looking for local history, and we get many questions about that, we do offer a full access to Ancestry.com, the library edition, and you have access to that right now from home by using your library card. Just as a refresh, let's access it together. We can go to shelbytownship.org. We can hover over Government and select Library. From the library page, we can select Catalog Login, and we can log in with our library card. Now that we're in our catalog, if we take a look on our left-hand side, we will see Local History Digital Archive and Ancestry Remote Access. These are two popular ways which will answer reference questions. If you were asking about specific identification of a family member from some time ago, we'll select Ancestry.com. And we can begin our search here. Notice no further login information is required because you're already logged in as the library. Ancestry.com allows us to answer many, many questions, and we can see on the side here some of the topics it covers. This has been covered in a previous video done by our librarian Elizabeth, and all the librarians will be happy to assist you with finding information on your family. Feel free to stop in and ask for help on any of your searches. Now, if you were looking for local history, maybe previous images of Shelby Township or Utica, let's select the Local History Digital Archive. The Suburban Library Cooperative has been hard at work digitizing images in local history. Many libraries have taken it upon themselves to collect this information and make it readily available. These are where you will find the fruits of that labor. So, if we go to the beginning search here and type in Shelby Township, we will see that these images are searchable. And it's not just items that you may expect. We'll have pictures of Farmer Jack's store grand openings, legal and government business. We'll have contributions from the whole community. You may see some familiar faces here. It's always fun to go back and reminisce. On the side, we'll see we can kind of control these searches. So we can have it cataloged just by Shelby Township or Mount Clemens, Roseville, or St. Clair Shores. And we can organize it by people, businesses, and by events and residences, and even by documents or images. So in Shelby Township, we can see we've really focused on the community pictures. And I encourage you to take a look here, and maybe you'll see somebody familiar, a previous business like Shelby Drugs, or individuals who parks are named after. How neat is that to put a face to a name? If this is still not bringing up the information that you need, we can always return to mel.org. We've searched the local picture archive. We've gone to Ancestry.com. We've searched Chronicling America, and we're just not bringing up the resources. Well, if you don't want to give up, and I don't think you should, another spot that we can go to is in Mel, and it's called MyHeritage. We can go to Browse All Resources, click See More, select M at the top, and we will see there are other resources here, specifically MyHeritage Library Edition, where Ancestry.com at some point will require you to be in the library for the resources. For the time being, to the end of the year, you can access it at home. MyHeritage Library Edition is available to you. This is a service purchased for you by the Library of Michigan. So, maybe what you really want to know is, what did it look like once upon a time? And in that area, where mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, great-grandma and grandpa, what can we kind of gather? What did Detroit look like, Shelby Township? One of the great ways that we try and figure out kind of a grasp or a lay of the land is actually through fire insurance maps. So the Sanborn fire insurance maps have been digitized for everybody, and we have used these before to answer questions. Let's take a look together. These have been digitized by the Library of Congress. So much like Chronicling America with all their newspapers, we can also search Michigan for fire insurance maps. And these are available at home or at the library. And we can see here that we have these going back to 1884. And when we select them, such as maybe Detroit, we will have 111 maps just in this sequence. Now, these were used for fire insurance purposes, so these had the buildings, the streets, the size, and the lot information. And these are fully searchable for you to kind of see how busy areas were, or what was around that area. It's a fun piece of history to take a look at. Maybe we're interested in a different kind of history. So we'll leave the family tree alone, we'll leave the fire insurance alone, we'll leave Shelby Township alone. Maybe we're interested in internet history. We've received questions about old pieces of software, or what did websites look like in early 90s and 2000s? Did anybody bother to archive these? The answer is yes. And the website might be a little more obvious than you think. We'll go to archive.org. Archive.org is home to many collections. These collections include storage of over 591 billion web pages on the internet, music, the Grateful Dead audio collection. There is an endless amount of answers here to reference questions. So if you're interested in what websites look like, maybe Shelby Township, we can just put it in here and press enter, and we will see that there's information going back all the way to 1999. So this could answer a question: when did Shelby Township first get a web page? Maybe you're interested in old video games from from like Windows 95 when you played with your little brother some sort of something, a freeware or maybe some Commander Keen. If we click on software, there is a full internet arcade up here along with MS-DOS games, classic PC games, all ready to play in this browser. It's a wonderful nostalgia trip to see that strange game you played on a floppy disk, but you only have a vague memory. Mine was Mixed Up Mother Goose, who came on multiple floppy disks, which some of you, I'm sure, don't even know what those are anymore. Perhaps in your searches, you've been wondering, I have a picture of something, but can you search by a picture? Again, the answer is yes, you can. The easiest way to search by a picture is to Google it. On google.com, if we go to the top right-hand corner, we can select images. Now, usually when we do a search where you're typing it in, cat, pencil, bag, and we'll have all of these different options that show up here. However, maybe I received a cute cat bag as a gift from somebody, and I want to figure out where it is on the internet so I can buy it, because I see all of these cat bags, they're not the right cat bag. So, if you have the picture, you can go up here and click on this little camera, and you can select Upload an Image, select the file, and you can upload the picture. And I've uploaded my cat picture, and I can see websites that have this exact cat bag on it. How cool is that? So now I know exactly where to purchase this cat bag. If there was somebody in my life who said it was nice, I can get one for them too. This can also work on our next topic, finding old high school friends or people on the internet. You can reverse image search the pictures that you've posted online and try and find them. See if maybe they're somewhere else, maybe search for celebrity photos. There are lots of options. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility, but this is a great way to check your own internet history and see where you show up. If you are looking for somebody in particular, but you don't know where to start, that's also a very common library question. I'm looking for an aunt, an uncle, somebody, old high school friend, it's been 45 years. Where do you start? Well, at the library, we tend to have 3 resources that we really work with. The first one is the big obvious one, Facebook. So many people have a Facebook. Even in the older age demographic, we're seeing that statistically, there's a good chance you have a Facebook. So we encourage you to do a Facebook search. If that doesn't return anything, we can always search the white pages. And the other resource that's less commonly known is called A2Z Database. Let's go there together. We're going to return to our friend mel.org, select e-resources, and this one will be quick to find. It's right under public libraries on the left-hand side. A2Z Databases is a powerful resource that Mel has purchased for you. You'll see you'll be able to find businesses, you'll have career resources here, and you'll be able to find a person or search that phone number that called you that you don't know who they are. As well, over here in the Platinum search, you'll see there's historical addresses as well as criminal searches. So, if we were looking for John Doe, we'll just put the information in and put in the city, select the state if we know it, and we may not know it. So maybe they left Michigan, maybe they didn't. We can narrow it down, and we'll see that it was too narrow of a search. There was no records found. However, if we made it maybe a more specific, I'm sure you will find the person you're looking for. And again, a librarian is always here to help. Maybe you're not looking for someone, but you are looking for help. Maybe you're looking for help for someone. These have been difficult and challenging times. One of the best ways to find help in Macomb County is through the Macomb Intermediate School District. So let's get started there by searching Smart Connection MISD. So the right connection is a wonderful resource that comes from the MISD, and they have it categorized by all sorts of subjects. We've covered this a little bit before in a previous presentation, but it's always great to cover this again. If you're looking for transportation to medical appointments, or a friend is, you can always contact the Shelby Township Community Center, or if they're not in Shelby Township, you can send them here, and they will be able to find resources and transportation, utility assistance, vision and hearing, anything that you need. This helps answer so many questions that we receive at the library. If maybe they're not in Macomb County and they're somewhere else in Michigan, United Way is always a great resource as well. We can find United Way by searching 211. You can call, text, or go to 211.org for all of the most up-to-date resources for community assistance. Maybe we're looking for something a little more personal. Maybe we're looking to repair our car. Maybe we're looking to take care of lawnmowers. Maybe it's not so urgent as looking for whatever's on 211. How do we repair a car? Where do we find the schematics? Maybe we're looking at restoring something like a vintage Dodge Dart, something neat, inherited a cool car from Grandpa. Whatever the experience is, the library has 3 excellent resources to assist you. And 2 of those are available right away online. So, if we go back to our friend mel.org, select e-resources, go to see more under browse all resources, we can scroll down to auto source. And we'll see auto repair source is available here for you. This great resource is how we've helped many patrons answer their technology, engine repair questions, how to change things I don't fully understand because I'm not an auto guy, but you are, and you need answers. So we can select year, we can go to 1988, and we are looking for a Chrysler, and we're working on that Dynasty, working on restoring it. Inputting all of this information is going to give us the information we need to help you answer that question. But as we know, sometimes one resource doesn't have what we need. That's why the library always purchases a second catalog or resource to look through. You can stop in the library and we will have access to all data on our library computers. Unfortunately, this one will not be available outside the library, but we'd be happy to search for it for you over the phone to find any of the data you need. If the engines we're working on are a little bit smaller, we can go back to mel.org and we can search for small engine repair. And this will have small engine repair for boats and lawnmowers and all sorts of other resources. We'll try our hardest to answer your question, but if you would like to try yourself, these resources are available to you at home. In the small engine repair resource, we will see there are many different categories, from tractors to snowmobiles to all-terrain vehicles and power equipment. Select the one you need and narrow it down, and you will be on your way. Just look at the options that you have here. We're fairly confident that you'll find what you need here, and if you don't, again, we're very excited to help you. Maybe we need assistance with building job skills, or you need help building a resume, or you're not even sure where to start in your career. The library has resources for that also. If we go back to mel.org and we click on e-resources, we can select Learning Express Library on the right-hand side. And Learning Express has so many resources for you. If you are a nurse and you're looking at taking nursing exams, we have it here. If you are a bilingual student and you are looking at taking the GED and you needed it in Spanish, those resources are here. If you're looking at taking civil service exams, it's here. There is so much available at Learning Express. I can't stress enough, this is one of our most underutilized resources in the community that is truly wonderful. If we select career preparation, we will see so many programs available to us, preparing for military exams, law enforcement, plumbing and culinary, including preparing for exams like Work Keys and the TOEIC. These are all very common requests for books and physical materials, but if you're not able to leave home, or maybe you have a friend or a relative who doesn't really have the means to get these materials or get out and get them because they're busy working multiple jobs, they can go here. And you can log into an account using your Google account or your library card from across Michigan. It will have even resume resources in here. This will show example resumes. There are resume makers in here. Learning Express is a great resource. Maybe you are a teacher and you are looking for a resource to help you find books on difficult topics. Maybe you are building a lesson plan and the topic you have is a little challenging, or you can't really find the right book. The library has a resource for that as well, and it is called Novelist. If we click on e-resources, go to our left-hand side, and click on Novelist Plus. Novelist is a great resource for helping us find those challenging topics that we're not quite sure if anything's been published about them, or if we're interested in finding very particular genres of books. We can see on the side we have everything from Canadian fiction to mysteries, the 2021 top books. We can select nonfiction, and there will be do-it-yourself, society and culture. And as we scroll down, it just gets more and more narrow. It's a great way for us to find books, and we are happy to use it to try and find the book that you need. But we encourage you to give it a try too. If we are looking for business resources, maybe some statistics, demographics, things of that nature, we can get you covered on that as well. if we go into MEL and we go to Demographics Now, I think we'll find more information than you can shake a stick at. We'll go down to G for this one because it's in Gale Business, a database that the library purchased. Demographics Now lets you find businesses, nonprofits, and also people, as well as demographic information. It pulls this information from the census and other reports, and it's incredibly powerful. We can find demographics on so many different topics. We'll find census information, median household info, percent of households by income, and this is just a small snippet. And as you can see, this information is also up to date. Sometimes census information and demographic information can be just a few small years behind. It does take work to compile this information. There is so much information available, and as I said, we encourage you to contact us. Try and stump us with your questions. Feel free to comment below if you have a question you want us to find for you. And if you're looking for a particular resource, I'm sure we can find it. I thank you all for joining us. It's been really fun, and I look forward to talking with you again. Have a great day.